Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And I am so happy to be able to say that again. Today, I am driving from Northern Aberdeenshire down to Glasgow. I'm going to try and redo my efficiency thing from the other week, if you saw that video where I tried and failed to go from the northeast of England to the northeast of Scotland without a stop. I'm on my final few weeks here in deep thought, and I thought that we should see just how efficient that we can get it now that the sun is shining and the temperatures are warmer. Can I waft this car along and sip power? And the answer, of course, is that yes, I can waft the car along. The question is, do you actually want to? Is it a compromise too far in terms of how you're actually going to drive? So I usually cruise at 65. At the moment, I am doing that, but only because I'm trying to get past this relatively busy Aberdeen Western bypass section. And I do like this road on a sunny day. You get some great views out to sea. But we are going to slow the thing back down again, cruise at, I don't know, 60, 62, something like that. I'm not going through Dundee, so I'm going to take the old road and now use the new Perth Northern Bypass Bridge and then out towards Glasgow. A few things to do in and around Glasgow, so we're going to get a bit of urban travel in there as well at the bottom end, and we're going to see how we come out. At the moment, it's predicting that I'm going to get to my first stop in Glasgow on 30% of the battery. I did start with 100% because I want to do that level of testing on this video. And we're going to find out just how efficient the thing can be. So when I did the previous video, what was very clear was that it was wildly optimistic at times as to just how far it would let me go. It kept saying, oh yes, of course you can go off the clock with regards to range, you just need to drive slower. Well, as we went on, we found that that wasn't really realistic. But if you aren't trying to set world records and you're just trying to be super efficient, what can we actually do? So at the moment, I'm 42 miles into this trip and it's on 268 watt hours per mile. And you might think, that's not anything special. Well, it isn't, except that I'm on the ridiculously hilly up and down Aberdeen Western peripheral at the moment, and hill climbing and descending burns power. Once we come off this and we descend down the other end and back onto the relative rolling landscape of southern Aberdeenshire and then Angus, I'm expecting that number is going to come down fairly significantly. So check back in with me in a little bit. Just west of Forfar, heading basically towards the north side of Perth and this new bypass bridge, just because I don't want to go through Dundee. That bit of road is just yawn. From an efficiency perspective, I did say earlier that it would improve, and it has done. So we are on 249 watt hours per mile, so 4 miles per kilowatt hour. That's absolutely fine. And now we're going to arrive on 30%, it's saying, although it's taking me some interesting routes and suddenly we've lost connectivity as we've come off the A90. So I think it's still trying to re-establish itself as to where it is and where we're going. But I'm going that way. That's what I know. I'm going that way, and we'll worry about the rest later. It is quite nice. I think we were braking for that bird, by the way. It is quite nice wafting the car along. I've been doing 62 miles an hour, so more than truck speed, comfortably more, and just wafting. It's been great. It's just nice and relaxing. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain about the amount of efficiency that I'm getting. What is it doing? Curvature, I think it was, yeah, it's breaking me down to turn here, which obviously I'm not about to do. So we'll ignore that. And then, as you can see, until we get connectivity back, it has no map, which doesn't help. I like the road number for this new cross-tailing A9294 because it's literally the road that connects the A9 to the A94. So it does kind of make sense. If you're going to make up a number, make up something that's very literal. So the A9 to the A94. Yeah, okay. So this, I think, and I had to do a little bit of a diversion because the main road was closed for some daytime roadworks. But this, I think, is going to make a fairly big difference to getting around because the route through Dundee is a pain. I really like the A94, which cuts through Cooper Angus and that way. It's a big, fast, flowing road. And now that you've got this to connect straight out onto the A9, north of Perth, that's great. It will cut the whole of the city out, because before, if you wanted to go that way, you've got to go through Perth of, you know, one way or another. This way, you don't need to bother with that. You cut all of that out and just go straight over this this new bridge. From an efficiency point of view, it's exactly the same as it have been. So 245 thereabouts watt hours per mile. So we're basically cruising along on 4%. My state of charge on arrival at my first stop keeps fluctuating up and down by a couple of percent, but it's going to be on around a third of the battery, something like that. Not a particularly big deal. So the plan is that we're going to we're in Glasgow overnight, so we're going to put some more power in the car tomorrow morning at the supercharger at the new Tesla. Well, it's not a new Tesla centre, it's where I got this car. The supercharger is relatively new. We're going to be putting power in there before we head home again. So no need to think about charging today, it's just enjoy the drive. Ooh. It's an interesting bridge. Climbing from one side to the other. Obviously there's quite a big height differential. Okay. And then we've actually just gone over the alignment of the old A9. They had to move it to be able to make room for the junction. So we're coming down to the Broxton roundabout. I'd normally approach this the other way, and we're heading towards Stirling and then Glasgow. 0.4 of a mile of a queue down to here. I mean, this roundabout is bad. It probably doesn't help that I think practically everything needs to be in the right-hand lane. How have they laid this thing out? They've got what? Oh, it's not the Broxton roundabout. I thought this was Broxton. No, this is a Perth bypass. Why haven't they got both lanes turning right here? If both lanes turned right here, you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have such a daft queue, because it's dual carriageway on the way down and it's dual carriageway on the other side as well. This is just silly. We're on the M80 on the final run in towards Glasgow. Wow, look at the size of this bridge. That's huge. Anyway, on the wow, that is big. On the final run in onto the M8, and then we're on the inner ring road through Glasgow, and then out the other side again. I just like wafting this car along. I mean, I'm doing 50 because it's a 50 limit, and that's the right thing to do, but 245 watt hours per mile. So again, we're maintaining that maybe 4.1 or so of efficiency miles per kilowatt hour, which is great. It's just been a nice, relaxing journey, and I will miss that about this car. Its ability to basically just I don't know why it's wanting me to change lanes. Its ability to just let me waft along without any concerns is something that has been really, really good. And I'm hoping, of course, that the new car will be able to do the same thing, and I'm sure it will. But so far, this has been one of the things that I've noted. I can do long trips in this car, and long trips in this car without any concerns at all. What is it doing? It keeps hitting the brakes. Stop hitting the brakes. This lane is fine for now. One thing that I'm not going to take over into the new car is enhanced autopilot. It's too naggy in places, and it's too flaky when it comes to auto lane change, and it is something that all of the other functions. I mean, look, why did it do that? Why did it do that? I was partway through a lane change, which it was pestering me to do, when it decides to go freakazoid. I don't get it at all, and it's just not worth the money. Allegedly, proper full self-driving is now being tested in right-hand drive markets. I saw a video of a car in Australia being tested for, being tested for FSD, which is fascinating. If that's the case, then I think we're in for a lot of fun. Until then, here come the roadworks. Okay, there's always roadworks in Glasgow. Until then, EAP, I just don't think is worth the cash. And I know I spent the cash, but remember, I spent referral credits on it rather than cash. And the good news is that Tesla have taken that into account with my trade-in value, which has been jacked up accordingly. So that's a positive. The money that they're giving me for the car is substantially more than I was being offered from WeBuyAnyMotorway.com. Okay, substantially more. So that's a real positive. Hang on, what's happening with the lane changes? We're going to have this one's closing, and then those two are I don't know. I think this lane's okay. It's what exactly is going on? We've got two lanes and then one lane. I think I need to move across, don't I? Do I? I'm not entirely sure. We'll keep going. But one lane, then a closure, and then two lanes and a closure. Well, I can't actually see where the lane... hang on. Is there a lane coming on? It's right-hand entry. Right, that's the one that's closed. I do need to... Yeah, I do need to move across, don't I? Actually, I can't do it there. Stop it. What we can do is maybe bob in front of the minibus. Here. Go and do that. Okay. That's better. This section of motorway is entertainingly poor anyway, because they built two corners of a ring road and then tried to make it cope with far more traffic than all four sides were supposed to do, which is quite daft if you think about it. But never mind. I could have gone down the other side, but I didn't entirely want to, because I almost never go down here now. So this is kind of a let's go and have a look at the old road. I could have gone around the traffic, but in this case, whatever, it's fine. Ghost motorway, never built. We really do scythe our way through Glasgow. This road just chops its way through. They didn't really have to bulldoze things specifically to build the motorway, because these were clearance areas that they wanted to remodel anyway. They just ended up shoving the motorway through the gap. But it is quite stark when you're literally driving your way through the city centre like this. Again, I'm driving this section manually because EAP is just, it can't cope with these conditions. Where I've tried it, I mean, you saw what he did earlier on. It's constantly asking for lane changes, but it's so slow making the lane changes that it's unusable. So I just end up with the whole system switched off and just driving manually, and it's just easier. Over the Kingston Bridge, out the other side, and then I want the M77 for where I'm going. Now we'll switch it on because we're out of the craziness, but before, no. It's an absolute scorcher in Glasgow, 24 degrees, fantastic. Despite lots of urban running, and what is this kid doing? I am doing an awful lot of just bobbing around on city streets. I'm still really good on efficiency, so 242 watt hours per mile. It's actually going down, which is interesting. So a few more stops here and there, and then we'll wrap this up. Parked up now at the hotel, and this trip has been really easy, and we've even got a bit of interesting industrial heritage, so like I hear, with the Finistone crane, which is literally looming over my head as I stand here. Not looming over my head is the cost of charging that, because there are these BP pulse, can I see it? I can't really see anything in the sun here. These BP pulse units, 65p a kilowatt hour for the slow one, and 85p for the, well, I say fast one, it's 50, allegedly, probably more like 40. That's an awful lot of money, and I don't think we're going to bother. And we don't need to, because there is a supercharger here in Glasgow. But that is for another video. I hope you've enjoyed my little meander along today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have, and hit the bell icon, and I will see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.